Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? We're back for another episode of Bullish's Top Stocks to watch this week and why. Sorry, it's been a little inconsistent, but I more of the same probably until the start of the year. It's got a bunch of shit going on. But anyways, before we jump into it, a couple things. Hey, these are only my opinions. Do your own due diligence. And two, give us a sub here. Help me feel good about myself. And follow us socially real underscore bullish wherever you get your social media shit. Let's engage and talk and argue sometimes, and that's all right. All right, jumping into it. Hopefully, you can see my screen here. If not, I'm kind of fucked. We were wrapping up earnings last week and into this week. Last week it was more or less retail. This week is more of the same. Last week we had Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, L Brands. This week we have Home Depot. We have Dick's Sporting Goods and we have Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods, and some other ones as well. So kind of like the end of earnings weeks. Also, we have more COVID vaccine news last week that looked promising with Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca coming out with some stat-sig, statistically significant updates, causing kind of like a pre-rotation over the past couple weeks from growth to value. Possibly, I think it's a little bit early for that, but hey, the markets react to news, right? But we also have an election in doubt, right? We have some states going in and saying that they're going to certify. We'll see how that goes. All this is just like, hey, these are catalysts, good and bad. These are just things, right? COVID spikes continue. We're nearing 200,000 new cases per day. So that's still kind of, obviously that's still kind of going on. Overall, the market appeared to react negative last week. The Qs, as we're looking at top left corner, Qs were down 0.20% over the week. SPY was down about, 1.66%. And the DIA, Dow Jones Industrial, 2.41%. So overall down for the weekend. If you look at the charts, hey, more of the same. The great news about like COVID vaccine, it's great, let's get something out there, but also, the Qs reacted negatively over last week or the past couple weeks to that, kind of dropping here from all-time highs. You see this resistance here at about 303.5, which is the all-time high. The DIA and the SPY are the opposite, because signaling maybe like a pre-rotation from growth to value and stuff like that. We do see the DIA kind of having support here at 292 and the SPY breaking support there that it had around 358. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. But this is all to say a week after it ripped. You see these rips going up there, and that kind of happened after that initial COVID vaccine news from Pfizer that came out, where the CEO came and said, hey, this is the CEO announced, hey, I believe this is likely the most significant medical advance in the last 100 years. What he didn't announce, though, is that he sold 6 million shares worth of stock that same day. That was a couple weeks ago now. So, hey, all that to say, take everything you hear with a grain of fucking salt. All right, jumping into it, I'm just going to go over a couple. And one of the ones, oh, man, look at all those lines I had for wow. I was really, really loving this Tesla. Tesla, of course, as you know, I love Tesla. Some Tesla news came out over on Monday where they announced the S&P inclusion. So kind of we'll go into it a little bit, kind of how that was moving. Basically, they announced S&P inclusion on Monday. What is this? 11/16. 11/16 was Monday. So yeah, after hours ish on Monday. It's actually going to be included on December 21st. Still up in the air how that's going to happen. But the stock reacted to news of that. It was up about 10 to 12%, as you can see here in that first day that it announced. It held that. It ended the week actually up 20% for the end of the week and 485% up for the whole year. So wow, huge movement there. As you can see though, 500, as it has been doing in the past, acting as real resistance. I have a notification here, hey, when it breaks its all-time high, let's look at it. But basically 500, as you see, kind of playing up. I've actually played Tesla like 3 times last week. I did. It's extended there. It has real, like, people on stock twits and shit are like, oh my god, it's gonna go so hard. It could actually, if you look at it just at the, over the past few days, the 30-minute level, hey, it looks like it wants to come back and rip again. But hey, I was like, hey, I'm over. Like, I think the price movement for me was overextended. So I was looking at, hey, that 500 resistance, it couldn't break that with force. So I was like, hey, let me get the fuck out of it for now. Get back in later when it seems appropriate. But even looking at the, the three, let me just clear all this shit out because this is, not that one. Clear drawing set. Yeah. So basically, hey, it has a huge movement even at week over week level. Still looks really bullish though. If I'm looking at it right now, hey, you see kind of at the week level RSI picking up, MACD wanted to cross from bearish to bullish. You see this huge price action movement, but it was actually moving sideways for, since the last S&P inclusion information or date, like in September when they said, hey, they got passed up for like Etsy and so a couple other ones. Hey, it was kind of moving sideways since then. Great, great dip buys. It was playing between that 400 to 420 to 450 level. Finally broke out of that with the S&P inclusion news. What does that do for Tesla though? S&P inclusion, what does that mean? Hey, it gets added to the S&P. That means somebody has to get bumped out. They're not sure exactly how they're going to do that yet. Adds more credibility, adds some exposure to more investors, but also indexes and ETFs that deal in the S&P need to buy Tesla. But from my understanding, this is just my understanding, they can't do it right now. They have to do it closer to that December 21st inclusion date. So I'd expect the price actually to move up, but also this is actually the biggest, if not one of then the biggest inclusion in the S&P in history. So I don't know how it's going to go down exactly. And the reason why I was playing it over like a few times last week is I'd expect, you see when Tesla dips, it fucking dips, it can rip, but also it can dip. I didn't want to get caught exposed because I played it the second time a little bit higher, but it seemed after that pop that it was holding the level that it was popping at, so I was like, okay, cool. Like, let me ride it up and see how far it can go. It went over a couple of days, hit that hard resistance, and then bounced off. So I was like, hey, it found resistance, back off, scale out, get out of it, and then hope for like I can play the bounce again. I think it's going to have a significant bounce. This is just me. I'm probably going to be wrong, but that's how I play it. I don't like FOMO. FOMO never makes me money. It always leaves me exposed. So that's how I'm playing it. I'm playing it for a dip to see. But once it breaks this 500 level, I think it's going to be really interesting to get back in. But I just think that money, market makers and people like that, the people that have to buy Tesla for the indexes and ETFs, they're not going to let retail fucking traders push it up. They're going to get it at a great price for them. So that's kind of why I'm just kind of being more cautious with how I'm doing it. But also, like I said, hey, Tesla runs up hard, but also it dips fucking hard. So again, play it how you want to play it, but hey, FOMO for me never fucking works. But Tesla is going to be a real interesting one over the next few weeks into the early part of next year, just with that December 21st inclusion date. So be on the lookout for that. All right, that's just one that I liked. The other one I wanted to talk about for the week was Dick's Sporting Goods. And the reason why I like Dick's Sporting Goods was because they have earnings coming up. So they have earnings on 11/24 before market open. So 11/24 is Tuesday. So you got a couple days there. It's having a really, really solid run up over the last few days. As you can see here, it sounds some really good support here. About 11:16. So what was that? Monday? Yeah, it sounded. It had like nice little cup and handle ish on the day level. For this one, found some really good support here and then bouncing off of that. I love that. Let's see what it does at this resistance at about $59. It could bounce and then kind of break down, or it could pop over. We'll see how it plays there. But anyways, all that to say, I like Dick's Sporting Goods next week. I think Best Buy is another one. I think people are more bullish on Best Buy, but I don't know. I just like Dick's Sporting Goods, even though Foot Locker, Target, like they're all in that same play. They all did really well. I think retail is just showing out, but also just because you have good earnings doesn't mean that the market's going to react well to them. But anyways, consumer cyclical play here, similar to Target and Walmart. Both did well last week. Like I said, retail showed out for earnings last week and this week. Target is up 4% over last week. Walmart is like flat to kind of down 0.23%, even though they had good earnings. So I think Walmart might be an interesting reversal earnings play, because they had a top and bottom line beat. So they beat on revenue, they beat on EPS, but they still kind of flat. And I think it's the market's just trying to go about like raising them in after that bottom. So we'll see, but I think Walmart will be an interesting one. So anyways, why do I like Dick's Sporting Goods? Well, because it's named Dick's Sporting Goods, and also I like going there. I just like going to Dick's Sporting Goods, just like walk around and like look at the shit. Sometimes I don't buy stuff. Usually I don't buy stuff. I just go in there, see if it's something I want. Better than Academy in my opinion. But anyways, other than that, the average analyst price target is 9% above the current price. What does that mean? If you look at Yahoo Finance, the average analyst price that it should be now is actually above where it is now. So that's one indicator that I like. Hey, you're getting some value there. They're still at the analyst level, at the average price level, saying, hey, they're still, almost 10% upside there just to get to the average price. Also, the estimated EPS, same quarter, year over year. So looking at this quarter versus the same quarter last year, the EPS is expected to be up 158%. Fucking insane. That's just growth. Also, a few other things I liked. The last 12 quarters EPS, it beat 83% of the time. So it beat the estimate 83% of the time over the last 12 quarters. Also, the last 6 quarters, it increased after earnings 83% of the time. Again, 83, right? But 83 over the last 6 quarters. After the EPS or earnings release, it went up 83% of the time. And also the charts look fucking good to me. So all that to say, hey, looking at the charts, even that's really cool to me. So if you look at the week level, what I liked about this one here specifically is that, it had a really hard bounce. It did under this 10 EMA. And this is kind of like how I like to look at the week over week. I look at this 10 moving average. I probably need to switch to SMA. I look at EMA, and I did this poll on Twitter, and people said they don't use anything, but also no one uses EMA. I guess people use SMA. So I'm going to change this to EMA to SMA eventually. But anyways, I like to look over the week chart to see, hey, when does it bounce or come under, and how far is it extended from this 10 EMA? If it's like super extended off, I'm not going to do this. Like right here, if I was playing it here, I probably wouldn't have done this one until it kind of consolidated this way. And I'll show you kind of what I mean in the next chart. But anyways, what I liked about this is it touched the 10 EMA, it dipped below, found support at this 25 EMA and busted off of that. So it's finding support here. If you look at the week level, you see this volume over average. This is the average line of volume for trades coming in. This is a bearish candle, right? It's over average. People were selling off. You see that dip, but then the buyers came in over average. Not like a little line where it's bullish, but like there's no volume. The volume over average is coming in. Also, if you look at that's a weird sound. If you look at this RSI line, it's picking up, right? To go back to this 70 area, as we said, 70 is overbought. 30 is oversold. Think about that one. Right now, it's sitting at about 62, 63. So that's about right. But this is a hot runner as well. 78. It can go almost 80 RSI. Not bad. Nice. Still making gains here. Also, what I like about this is the moving average convergence divergence. It diverted right here, as you see, where you have this bearish candle to being bearish. But it looks like it wants to at least stabilize to cross back over. So on the week level, it's looking good. At the day level, it's looking real damn good in an almost cup and handle pattern. I even like this RSI, as you saw right here at this level 1013 or 1113 over to early on Monday. It had a really good reversal here. It had a nice bottom, some support here. So when I'm playing this, I'm saying, hey, the better time would probably been a little bit earlier in the week, like how I was doing it. But basically, what I like about this is you can say, hey, if it breaks this line, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. It showed support here. It should show support again. If it goes below that, cut your losses. But you see a lot of volume over average coming in on Friday. People are trying to get into it and I think that this is a case to break this resistance and then use this as support. But anyways, RSI is coming up. You see a really strong green candle here. It pulled a little bit back, but still is making gains. You have, most importantly, I think, the volume over average, significant volume over average. This is 6 million shares that sold on Friday, which is basically triple what it was doing almost the day before. So man, I think that's awesome. RSI is coming back up. You see how this 30, it was oversold, right? Bearish a little bit. And then it's coming back up here. But also importantly is this MACD is just starting to poke over bearish after basically, what is that? Fucking 10-15. After basically a month of being bearish overall, it's finally starting to pick back up. So I really like Dick's Sporting Goods. It was a toss up between Dick's and Best Buy. The reason I didn't go with Best Buy was basically because when I looked at the first thing I talked about, the analyst price, it was already fucking on that analyst price. I think it was, I have a database of what I was putting it. Yeah, the analyst price is basically less than 0.5% or about 5.8%. So basically under 1% from what the analyst said it was to the current price when I looked at it. So I was like, hey, the price is right there. They're for me, it's trading at what people expect it to be, where I saw Dick's as having more upside in terms of the average price versus where it is now. So that's kind of how I was looking at it. But anyways, all that to say, hey, I like Dick's Sporting Goods. I like going in there. And that's what I look at when I'm looking at trades. Do I use it? Do I go to Starbucks? Do I go to Dick's Sporting Goods? Do I buy a Tesla? I haven't. But do I do all these things? And do I use Snapchat? Which I do use a lot of Snapchat. But I like Snapchat for the news. There's such good content on Snapchat for news. And I was using Snapchat TMI, but when it was a shit app where people were like, oh, I took a poop, and they send it to you what the fuck is this? like 8 years ago or whatever the case may be. And to see it morph into what it is now, it's great. It has news, has content, it has ads that are, it's interesting. They're ads, they're geolocated ads. So I'm in Houston, so they send me like a DoorDash ad with Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker, specifically about a food place in Houston, in Midtown, a specific, like a really niche dish from there. I was like, damn, this is super targeted and I love it. But anyways, and that's more to say like why I like Snapchat. Actually, a friend put me onto this. So I have one that I'm watching, Tesla, just because it's a lot of news. And you know me, I'm a fucking Tesla fan like a motherfucker. Traded 3 times last week. Dick's Sporting Goods was my earning play. Snapchat is kind of like one that was recommended to me by a friend. Trill Trades on fucking Twitter, he's fucking stupid smart. But anyways, he's like, hey, look at this one. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Already like banking on it. But still, like what I liked about it when I first looked at it, as we looked at that other one for Tesla. Okay, anyways, before I get into that, I think it's just a sexy chart setup for Snap on the week over week level. The average analyst price is $44.29. So we're a few dollars off of that. Or sorry, no, that's the current price. But anyways, we're under we're about or at that price that it's supposed to be, that they say we're going to be trading at now. We're actually $4 off. I think it's like 48. We're at 44, right? So I liked off that it moved after earnings. It had a really strong earnings. What you see here, this fucking huge green candle was the earnings that came off of it that week. Of 1010. Yeah, had earnings on 1010 in that week. But yeah, I liked it. And what I like about it is shot off. And we saw like, hey, I don't like to buy it necessarily here. I'm waiting. And what this is called supposedly is consolidation, where it had a huge movement at the week level or the day level off of this 10 EMA. You saw how before though, it was kind of holding this 10 EMA here. It was kind of trading on it. It always kind of hugs back before it makes a big movement. Well, it fucking shot off of that 10 EMA, off of that great earnings play because of ad revenue and stuff like that, and users and shit, because they're doing a lot of cool stuff with ads, making that money. But also after that, it kind of has been in this consolidation station, just like, like playing here. It's trying to get back to this 10 EMA line. And what I would think is when it gets to that 10 EMA line at the week level, it's going to have the next leg up. But it can't just, it's like wave theory. It shoots up. It's going to have to find this new normal. And what I liked about Snap, and while I was watching it for a while, it's not a fake movement, because we're 4 weeks away from that movement originally, and it's still staying at that price. It's finding its new normal, consolidating, and once it consolidates, I think when it gets closer to this 10 EMA line, so in the next week, 2 weeks, we'll see another strong movement here. I love it, so I'm kind of buying dips and just playing with that. But also when you look over the week level, hey, it bounced here off of this RSI, and it's still going, but this thing can go 88, 89, and still not, still kind of make gains. So even though it's a little overbought on the RSI level, it's not crazy. It can do it. But also this MACD, moving average convergence diverges, this blue line, the further it is and the further it's diverting away from that bottom line, is the movement sentiment is that much stronger. This has no sign, like it's not even close to coming together. It looks like it's moving further apart, not as fast as it did originally, but it doesn't look like it's coming close to touching at the week level, which is why I like it. Also at the day level, hey, we're still over here, we're making these gains. What I liked at the day level though, and kind of I've annotated here, this RSI at the day level cooled off. You see how this RSI can go all the way to 93, 92 at the day level? Well, right now we're at fucking like 65, making a strong move in the RSI, which I think is a lot of great movement here. Also, what we're seeing here, so basically after that huge movement, it was kind of consolidating. It tried to make a new high at 45.6. It actually couldn't do it, sold off. The RSI is cooling off, but here, look at that line again. See how this blue line is touching this right now? It's bearish, but it's converting to be more bullish. And you see what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to that weak level, this blue line is under this line, signifying something that's more bearish, but also this line is about to take over. It's about to converge and diverge and keep on going, is what it looks like right now. So that's why I like it. But also when you see cup and handles, hey, can it break this? Because basically with the cup and handle, you have the formation, and maybe it's better look at it at the week level. No, it's probably on this one on the day level. Like a semi cup and handle. Basically when you break this, people are going to start selling. You'll see some sell off here, usually about 10 to 12%. Any more than that, hey, it's not real formation. But you want to see that, you want to see it break here, break down, or sorry, you want to see it break whatever this was here, generally a break off, and then like a continuation of that trend upward. I think it shows strong movement. The only consideration I have is like there's no volume coming in yet, because people are waiting to see if it's going to break this, and if it does, you'll see volume start coming in, like over average again. So anyways, that's why I like Snapchat. Also because I like the news on Snapchat and all that shit. But anyways, Snapchat for me at the week level. So it's taking a step back and looking at the week. I'm trying to buy some dips and stuff. I'm already ahead on this one. So shout out to my boy Trill Trades for kind of calling this out for me earlier in the week. I should have acted sooner, but I was like caught up with Tesla and stuff. So, I have a job and I do this on the side. So basically I can't do both at the same time. But anyway, so I tried to take advantage. But sometimes things like someone will say something to me, say, hey, check this one out. I'll check it out. But it was from like 3 days ago and already the price action is extended and I'm not going to do it. But this one, I caught this one at the right time. So shout out to my boy for kind of throwing it out there. Anyways, so running down again, just quick one. Hopefully I'll have like 1 or 2 during the week. I'm going to try to do like smaller on Sunday. I was talking to this guy that does a show yesterday on Saturday and I was like, how long does it take you to like prep your show? He's like, it takes me 10 minutes to prep it because I already know we already know we're going to talk about. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I'm going to try to do like a smaller show on Sunday and then like 1 or 2 things, like maybe 1 or 2 like stocks that are interesting during the week. These are things that I'm watching, not playing. So do your own due diligence. But anyways, running it back, Tesla, because the S&P inclusion on December 21st, watch out for that dip from moneymakers and shit because they're not going to pay retail price. They're not going to let us retail Robinhood traders, shout out to Robinhood, like drive that price up, I think. Look out for Dick's Sporting Goods because I think there's upside because of the average price that analysts on Yahoo Finance are saying should be the price. We're about 10%, 9%. It was like 8 and some change, 8 and like 1% away from that price. And also the EPS, they beat all the time. They beat 83% of the time, which is amazing. They also raised after earnings over the last 6 quarters, 83% of the time. So I think like, hey, you look at all those indicators together and say, hey, this is smart money. You're putting your money at risk. It's about limiting that risk, extending your gains. So I like that one. Snapchat, I just like it week over week, especially after it made that huge movement and it never actually came back down. So that to me shows the market wants it at that price. It's consolidating for over the past 4 weeks to hopefully shoot off for another leg. And if it doesn't, you get your 4, 5, 6% ish. You're happy with that. Fuck yeah! If I can make a consistent 5%, I'm happy. I don't need those 30. I mean, you get them. You get enough 5% runners and then you get those 30%ers, those 60%ers, those 70%, whatever, over time, but you don't have to fucking hit it out the park every time. Play smart. Anyway, Snapchat was the other one. 1, 2, and 3. I'll have a couple more during the week. Again, follow real_bullish wherever you get your social media poison. Stay bullish, fam, and good luck to all. And remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, and have a fucking happy Thanksgiving. Also, the markets are going to be closed on Thursday because of Thanksgiving, and I think they close early on Friday. So people are going to get a week's worth of trading in 3.5 days. So be on the lookout for that shit. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Peace.